Sairam, good morning, dear children. So today I am just continuing the same lesson, the ancient civilization. This is class 6th, subject social science, part 6 and chapter 4. So in part 5, I have explained to you the political history of the Mesopotamian civilization. So I have told you about Hammurabi. So he was the most famous king among Babylonians, and he was famous for his code of laws. And his code of laws is based on ideas like an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And this Babylonian rule was followed by Kassite and Hittites. These races ruled for some time. And next, Assurbanipal. So he defeated Hittites and ruled Mesopotamia, and he was the last great king of the Assyrians, and he was a brave soldier and also a poet. He founded a royal library at Nineveh. And Nebuchadnezzar. So after Assyrians, another Semitic tribe called the Chaldeans re-established Babylonians. So Nebuchadnezzar was the greatest king among them, and he created hanging gardens, which was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So finally, after 2500 years ago, Emperor Cyrus conquered the city of Babylonia, which resulted in the fall of Mesopotamia. Now this is part 5, and now we are going to part 6, which tell about the contributions of the Mesopotamian civilization. So the contribution of Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamia were the first to adopt the code of laws in the world. So this Mesopotamia, who introduced the code of laws? It was Hammurabi. He was the most famous king among Babylonians. So he was the first to adopt the code of laws in the world. So Mesopotamians were the first to adopt the code of laws in the world. And Hammurabi was the first ruler to enforce the code of laws. So who was the first ruler to enforce the code of laws? So Hammurabi was the first ruler to enforce the code of laws, and he had prohibited abuse of slaves in his code of law. So in this code of law, so he had prohibited. So prohibited means not allowed by law. So prohibited means not allowed by law. So abuse of slaves in his code of laws. Slaves means a person who is owned by another person and had to work for him or her. So a person who is owned by another person and had to work for him or her. And so the slaves were treated very cruelly. So Hammurabi prohibited abuse of slaves in his code of law. And Mesopotamians had established the trade relationship with Harappan and Egyptian civilization. So the Mesopotamians had a trade relationship. Trade means it's buying and selling of goods, I have told in the previous class. So the Mesopotamians had established the trade relationship with Harappa and Egyptian civilizations. And each city had a guardian deity as in Egypt. So each city had a guardian deity as in Egypt. Means deity. Deity means God, which guards that particular place. So deity means God or a spirit which guards that particular place. And high-rise temples named ziggurats were built here. So this temple were very high. So high-rise temples named ziggurat were built here. I will show you the picture. So high-rise temples named ziggurat were built here. So the Mesopotamians established the trade relationship with Harappan and Egyptian civilizations, and each city had a guardian deity as in Egypt. So they had a god. So a guardian deity means the deity which guards or protects the particular place. And high-rise temples were called ziggurat were built here. So the high-rise temple called ziggurat were built here. So uniform script was used by these people. Gilgamesh is a great epic poem of Mesopotamians. Cuneiform script, I have told you, it's a triangular form of writing, so was used by these people. Gilgamesh is a great epic poem of Mesopotamians. So the great epic, like we Hindus, great epic is Mahabharata, Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita. In the same way, Gilgamesh is a great epic poem of the Mesopotamians. So I have told you, I will show you the picture of ziggurat. So this is the high-rise temples. So this type of temples were built there. And I think you have understood this. So I am just summarizing the whole video now. The Mesopotamians were the first to adopt the code of laws in the world. And Hammurabi was the first ruler to enforce the code of laws. So he had prohibited abuse of slaves in his code of law. Mesopotamians had established the trade relationships with Harappan and Egyptian civilizations. Each city had a guardian deity as in Egypt. So high-rise temple named ziggurat were built here. And cuneiform script was used by these people. And Gilgamesh is a great epic poem of Mesopotamians. So these were the contributions made by the Mesopotamian civilization. And there are some questions relating to this video. So with whom did the Mesopotamians establish their trade relationship? So with whom did the Mesopotamians establish their trade relationship? And what was prohibited in this code of laws? As Hammurabi was famous for his code of laws. So what was prohibited in this code of law? And what is ziggurat? And name the epic of Mesopotamians. And what do you mean by cuneiform script? So these are the 5 questions. So go through the video, understand the video and answer all these questions. Now the Mesopotamian civilization is completed. Now in the next class we are going to learn more about the Chinese civilization. Thank you. Sairan.